Could you imagine being kidnapped by a serial killer and deciding in that terrifying moment to pray for him? This is the chilling and surprising story of Margy Palm, who was forced into her car at gunpoint by Stephen Morin, a man suspected of over 30 murders. It was a cold evening on December 11th, 1981, and Morin was fleeing north out of San Antonio in Palm's SUV. The city was in a state of panic as helicopters circled and police combed the streets, warning residents to stay inside and lock their doors. Morin had made a rare mistake earlier that day, and his reign of terror was coming to an abrupt end. Despite the chaos, Morin's primary concern was finding the right soundtrack for his kidnapping. He had pulled a .38 revolver on Palm, a 30-year-old Texan, 6 hours earlier as she reached her car in a Kmart parking lot. Palm fit the profile of his other victims, pretty, fit and blonde, and she didn't try to fight or flee out of sheer terror. High on amphetamines and feeling cornered, Morin screamed at Palm, threatening to kill her. Oblivious shoppers passed by the car as Morin fretted about the police closing in. He informed Palm that they would probably both die in a shootout that day. He rummaged through the Christmas presents in the back seat, lamenting his own deprived childhood and railing against Palm's privileged life. Palm's only response was, "I'm sorry." In her fear, Palm closed her eyes and came to a startling realization. The man who was threatening her life was not her enemy. She believed that God had put her in that car for a reason. She started to pray aloud for Morin, shocking him. He called her a religious freak. Morin was a career criminal who disarmed his victims with his mutable character actor looks, charisma, and a grab bag of aliases and backstories. But on that day, it was Margy Palm who managed to disarm Morin, not with a weapon, but with empathy and faith. The events of that day had a profound impact on both Palm and Morin. Palm broke her silence years later in a series of in-depth interviews with Julie Miller, recounting her chilling encounter with Morin. Her story challenges our understanding of fear, compassion, and the human capacity to find hope in the direst of circumstances. Margy Palm's story serves as a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable terror, the human spirit can find a way to empathize, to understand, and to survive. It also raises questions about society's role in creating monsters like Morin, and the potential for redemption, even in the darkest of souls. It is a story that, once heard, is never forgotten.